What's going on, guys? Evan the Dark Souls enthusiast, bringing another Dark Souls gameplay commentary on the Xbox 360. This is going to be another PvP commentary session where I use the loadout I'm sort of revealing here on my inventory screen. In the past, I realized I wasn't actually showing you guys what I had equipped or what my stats were, and that was a mistake because it made people made it a little harder for people to relate to the video when you can't see exactly what I'm using. I also showed you guys my stats there on my soul level. Unfortunately, I'm not really at an adequate point in this character's lifespan to wind up PvPing, but that doesn't really matter. I'm using the Lucerne. I'm not exactly sure how it's pronounced, but it's like the Murden Hammer from Dark Souls, and I would have to say it's terrible. And I've played a lot of PvP matches. A lot of them are uploaded here in this video, but I probably played another 30 matches, and I wasn't particularly impressed with the weapon in any way. It has a moveset somewhere between a spear and a halberd. Like, its R2 attacks do sweeping attacks, and its R1 just sort of beats on the ground. That's one-handed, of course. Two-handed, you do the scythe-like 360 spin, which is pretty sweet. But unfortunately, I can't seem to get a Lucerne to hit stun anybody, ever. Like, I found that in order to win my matches with this thing, I pretty much winded up, you know, backstabbing people for kills with the Hornet's Ring, which wasn't exactly what I set out to do. I set out to use its moveset to win matches, but every time I tried, I get killed. It's very selective in its spacing, kind of like the Scythe. The Scythe is a great weapon, but the Scythe does a little more damage, and I think is a little better for hit stunning people. I can't get the Lucerne to hit stun people ever. It looks just like the Murden Hammer from Demon Souls, but it's just not remotely as good. And of course, this is a 2v1 Phantom showdown here, and this guy here will summon a third Phantom here in a minute, and I'm not going to win. These guys are just basically farming Black Phantoms. I managed to catch that guy in a bad roll and backstab him, but he has plenty of life and he doesn't die. Then I know the host is going to sit there and heal him over and over and over. And he has enough armor that when I do my R2 spin, he doesn't get stunned, and he can just chase me around and fight me while his teammate hangs back and just destroys me. Of course, he's using a spear. I'm not exactly sure what spear that is. I think they're both using full Ornstein set and Ornstein spear. Not to sound vulgar, but basically these guys are butt buddies sitting around in the kiln in a group of 3, all with the exact same character build, trying to be particularly awesome with Wrath of Gods and Ornstein spear and Ornstein set. Cute and classic. I'm not going to get into how much this annoyed me, but I invaded these guys maybe 10 times because I was just trying to use my red eye orb, and I kept getting bamboozled by them because they kept using dried finger to reset the invasion timer. This guy here, of course, has the Dark Moon Blade, which is ultimately what I'll wind up using because I got tired of not having a character with Dark Moon Blade, because Dark Moon Blade's insane and does so much damage. See, it hits him and it stuns him a little bit, but the weapon attacks so slow that you can't really hit him again and double stun him. So, and you'll see I'm using Karmic Justice here because I didn't have enough faith to have access to really anything better. And I was just kind of hoping that I could make it work, but it didn't. So he just poised through all my attacks and cut me down. Give me the nice bow, I appreciate that. I tried to get the parry off. I realized that the way that fight was going, I pretty much had to get a parry and a Hornet's Ring kill, but I think I telegraphed it when I backed up with the parrying dagger. I think he expected it, and then when I whiffed my parrying dagger, he finished me off. Up ahead here, of course, we have a Great Axe guy here, Black Knight Great Axe, which BKJE is a great weapon. I have a character that uses it, but once people get used to it, it can become extremely difficult to win matches. Of course, I'm not sure what that guy's trying to do, but for me, once you... I felt bad on that one. I couldn't tell if maybe he was hurt and he was trying to heal, but it's impossible to say, and I wasn't gonna wait and find out, I guess. I'm gonna chase him down. He's not gonna be able to get away. And of course, he tries to flask and he gets beat down. And it's not the Great Axe, by the way. He has the Great Sword, which is a significantly less awesome weapon. I'm not particularly impressed with the... Really, I'm not impressed with any of the Black Knight weapons. Even the Great Axe, once people get used to its moveset, it's really hard to kill them with it because they can just really block for days and it doesn't chip very well. It doesn't guard break that well either. Although the thing about the Great Axe is, if you're patient, you can just wait for them to attack. You usually will win the minute they whiff an attack, so I don't know. Right now, these battles here sort of demonstrate a problem with Lucerne in that his weapon is really no slower than mine, but it does tremendously more damage. And of course, I'm using a Chaos Lucerne, as I revealed earlier, +5 actually, because I felt to give the weapon a fair shake, I needed to go all the way to +5 with it. Then I don't really need +5 of any other fire weapon. Maybe I'll make like a Chaos S-Stock later if I want to go backstab fishing in another video. But since this is a buff build character, you know, 30 faith for Sunlight Blade and Dark Moon Blade, I really don't need a whole lot of elemental weapons in my inventory because the majority of my damage should be coming from my buffs. Of course, he's whiffing his Great Axe. That's a Great Shield of Artorias as well. This guy's basically in the, you know, Great Shield of Artorias, Smoke Set, Great Axe. He has all the life in the world, all the defense too. And I can't just wind up in a slugfest with him because not only does he have more defense, more life, and he just has a better weapon for it. He'll hit stun me more than I'll hit stun him. I'm only rocking 56 poise on this setup because it's more for style than effectiveness. I want him to attack. I'm trying to land a parry on him. You'll see I have Tranquil Walk of Peace. That's to give me a shot against 2v1s and people with like Dark Moonblade, because currently as it stands, this character's not really even prepared to be in the PvP zone. I mean, Electra does not have enough vitality to really justify being here at all, nor does she have enough faith to use her buffs yet. She's like a 28 faith, so she needs 2 more levels. I was trying to get those levels in the kiln, but it was pretty tough goings. I mean, I had a good time. I always have a good time PvPing. I'd rather PvP and lose for hours than go like grind levels like in the Forest or killing the Phalanxes in the Painted World or something like that. But you'll see this guy's kind of in the running away, trying to pop a flask. Unfortunately, it takes a little bit of time to flask, and normally you can't get it off. And the only reason I'm taunting rudely is because he's trying to flask. If you're standing around the kiln trying to get invaded, don't flask. That's not really appropriate. Like, the way I look at it, if it's an invasion, like if I get you an Anor Londo, like, I guess you should probably be popping flasks, whatever it takes. But in the kiln, I don't know, if you're sitting around looking for a duel, try not to give yourself the unfair advantage. And of course, this is the katana guy, and this is sort of another thing I do is I don't think it's fair to pre-buff your weapon before the match even starts, like if you're trying to treat it as a duel. So once you do something like that, it's no longer a duel in my mind, we're just battling. That's cool, I mean, no problem. So I go ahead and Tranquil Walk him here, which is a completely dick thing to do. I'm not even sure if he's familiar with the move, but unfortunately he looks like he has plenty of vitality and maybe some sort of ring to increase it. Look at that damage on those attacks. A couple two-handed attacks and I'm just dead. And there's really nothing I can do here with spacing. The Lucerne once again swings very slow and tends to not hit stun. So I must have had like 1 HP because I didn't even see anything show up when he did that. He pretty much blew me out. Then did the hurrah taunt, which is probably fair because I Tranquil Walked him. All in all, not a very good match. I'm not sure what this guy's doing. I guess he's trying to get like a free backstab at the start. I don't know why you do that, but he's another Crest Shield user. Most people with the Black King Great Axe wind up with a Crest Shield because the thing eats stamina so bad. And I think he's got like a Wanderer's Hood. That looks like a pretty unique build. Like Havel's boots, Wanderer's Hood. I think that's Ornstein's armor maybe, or Giant's armor. I can't actually tell because he's got the shield out in front of it, and he's chasing me around with the Black Knight Axe. I know this can sometimes look like, you know, a really boring way to do PvP, but with a weapon like this, if I swing into that shield and he blocks it, he'll counterattack with that Great Axe, and I'll be hit stun straight into death with only like 28 vitality. So I just have to wait for my opening. Patience is a big part of fighting against Black Knight Great Axe for me, as is fighting against Man-Eater Sword. Like a lot of the really big weapons that just hit you like a truck, waiting for openings is kind of how I do it. I try to stay close enough that they can't run away, but I try not to get far enough away that they're trying to get so close they can just beat me down. You get the idea. I try to maintain optimal spacing. I can't really, like with the Lucerne, I just couldn't find a way to take like pot shots. It doesn't have the range of the Great Scythe. It has more like the range of a regular Scythe, and a very similar moveset. It's just, I find that the Scythe actually does damage, whereas this doesn't really seem to do it. Maybe it's because it's just a Chaos weapon, but I've had success with Chaos weapons in the past. And it has, there's multiple factors going on here. I have a Faith stat that's not a ton of points into Faith right now, which aren't being utilized, so this isn't the fairest evaluation of the weapon, but I can safely say with confidence its moveset, its damage, and pretty much everything about it is vastly inferior to the regular Scythe's moveset. And the regular Scythe, well, is pretty cool. Like, if you have these big heavy weapons and you can't hit stun with them, either your opponent has too much poise or the weapon's just not very good at it, you wind up in these awful situations where you have to be extremely careful. Of course, I thought that was a pretty good duel, a lengthy one. I like the duels that go on for a while. Once again, I found I won most of my matches by backstab fishing, which was never my goal. This isn't even a good weapon to backstab with. I mean, I do more with a Chaos S-Stock or Bandit's Dagger, but the move set combined with the low damage on the Chaos Blade, or on the Chaos upgrade path, it just... And Chaos weapons do tons of damage. It's just on this weapon, the moveset's too slow, and every time you miss, you basically whiff and leave yourself open. All in all, I would have to say that I'm not at all impressed with this weapon. You'll see a little editing fail here. Oh, there we go. I kind of failed to edit out that little clip there before I launched the red orb. Just ignore that. Forgive me. I can't say I'm particularly proud of this video. I wanted to put it up because one of my subscribers, who's always kind enough to comment, posted on my thing that, you know, I was using it. Of course, this guy goes and buffs his katana, so I go ahead and shield up. Now, I have 90% magic resistance, so the Dark Moonblade buff is hardly adding any damage. Look how little damage my attacks are doing, though. Even a backstab only does, like, 1,000 damage. That's significantly less than an S-Stock would do with a... Of course, he's doing it right. I mean, he's hitting me between my whiffed attacks, but it's just a pathetically low amount of damage. It just didn't work at all. And of course, he gives me the point down taunt, and that's fine. Using Great Magic Barrier against Dark Moonblade, I think it's fair, but I think it's kind of unfair. Like, it's fair in that, and I'm not sure what happened there. It's like I took random damage from like Evelyn shots, it looked like, but I didn't see the Evelyn. This guy's pretty sweet. He's, of course, he's like a hybrid of 3 different characters. He's in full dragon build, so he's got, you know, the dragon's breath, the dragon shockwaves, everything like that. He's got a catalyst to shoot missiles and things like that. But the part that makes it weird is that his weapon loadout is, like, you know, probably a bow with poison arrows, but not that so much as he has a bandit's dagger and a parrying dagger, so he probably has no points invested in strength or dexterity, and he just tries to fish for parries and backstabs. It's kind of the all-pro way to play, but at the same time it's also kind of the, I don't know, like he's just going to run away from me the whole fight. Occasionally blast me with the dragon stuff. And of course he has the herb. You can see some lag on that one. Like, I went into backstab and he did the roar, and I stood there in the roar and didn't get moved at all, then suddenly I was being pushed back, so I don't know. The one-handed moveset on the Lucerne is really slow, and the sweeping attack is pretty much useless, so all in all it forces me to two-hand it, and the problem with that becomes I can't block anything, not effectively, and my attacks are still slow and they don't hit stun a lot. So I might be using this weapon just completely wrong. I know this isn't the ideal character build like I said earlier, but this just wasn't working. Like, look how slow that is. Look how easy it is for him to roll punish that. It took no effort. Now my spacing on it was bad too, but honestly I can't really see a situation where that would be a safe move, because they can just mash roll and get behind you, because they can roll right through those, so I'm not really sure. Like, you'd have to like back up and bait them into a charge then swing it at them, but even if you did, there's no guarantee that would actually like stun them. So I don't know, I just, all in all I have to say I hate this weapon. I haven't seen any other videos of it on YouTube. I looked around. Apparently no one else likes it either, or no one notices it because it's like a one-drop find down in the catacombs, and by that point most people already have their signature weapon for their character. I don't know. I'll have to admit that I'll probably never do another PvP video series on this weapon. I prefer to put up videos where I can win, and I can actually win with the weapon's moveset as opposed to just backstabbing for openings, but I couldn't make it happen with this weapon, guys. I apologize. I did give it my all, it just didn't really work out. So if anyone has some tips for using this weapon, hit me up in the comments. I don't need general advice like maintain spacing and things like that. Like, I know all that. I've used the Great Scythe, and I've used the Scythe before, so I'm pretty familiar with the need to use spacing on these big weapons. Now this is going to be sweet. Now this guy's going to blow me out here. Of course, he just did Crystal Magic Weapon on... First I thought it was a Bandit's Blade, but then I realized it was the Painted Guardian Sword. In fact, he might have been using the Painted Guardian Sword all along. I wasn't able to tell. But I do know that absolutely sweet tactic on his part to switch over to that and just start swinging away. You'll see I wind up fighting the same people over and over again because this game is divided into freaking servers. I put my back up against the wall, or I tried to so he can't backstab me, but I fail. His weapon still does enough physical damage, Dark Moonblade aside, that he can pretty much beat me down. Because now with this on, he can't really hit me very hard, and I'm in trouble now because I don't really want to pop humanity and heal, because that's not real cool. I don't like to heal in PvP, and every time I miss an attack, I whiff so hard that it's just like, ugh. He can poise through most of this weapon's attacks. I think that's the biggest problem, is this, the Lucerne doesn't have a good follow-up attack to its heavies or its normals, so you just wind up like, you hit them once and they poise through it and just beat you down. It's the same problem the S-Stock had, where you can't hit stun through the poise, but at least with the S-Stock, you can poke and poke safely, and the S-Stock was supposed to be a weapon where you fish for openings. This is a big weapon, so I kind of feel like, you know, using a big weapon, part of using a big weapon effectively is to go in. Same with the katana, like a big part of it is just to go in. And it didn't work here. Of course, this person is in like the Manny or Mildred mode. Let's just run around naked in our underwear with a Ferris hat and use, I think that's a bandit's blade and a parrying dagger, which I'm starting to see more and more. I can't tell if people are practicing their parries or they're just, you know, they're just trying to fish for backstabs. That's the easiest way to get through PvP. I'm not real sure, but I know this wasn't probably as chipper as my regular commentaries. Oh, there's the Wrath of Gods. All in all, I was pretty disappointed with the way these matches went. Like there, I was disappointed that even hit stun him and he just got the backstab anyway. So I can't foresee myself using this weapon again, and I can't really recommend it to anyone. It's pretty much like using a scythe with, I don't know, it doesn't even scale very well. Like if you look up the scaling on the Lucerne, it's pretty unimpressive at best. Just better off with pretty much any other weapon in its class. I like the halberd a lot more, even though it has a very similar moveset. I don't know. All in all, I don't regret using the Titanite slab on it. I did have a lot of fun practicing with it. Alright guys, I appreciate you watching the video. More Dark Souls content probably coming later today, because I want to put up a more successful PvP video. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you around. Take care.